welcome to CX Today. My name is Charlie, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Tom Martin, CEO of Glance. Tom, thanks very much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Charlie. Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, it's great to have you today on our show, and I'm very excited to discuss this piping hot topic of contact center AI and where companies can get started. And to kick off, I maybe want you to kind of picture me as a contact center leader looking to take my first steps into this world of contact center AI. Where would you recommend that I start?
Yeah, it's such a broad topic. I think AI, it is a hot topic, and it's one of the topics that a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, where do I get started? And one of the things that we think about is that the journeys that customers take and the systems and people that support them cross-departmentally really need to be looked at holistically. Thinking about what happens during that journey that may lead or drive a need to have a personal connection really needs to be orchestrated. And many different departments, and you think about a contact center, is trying to focus on different metrics, different KPIs around first call resolution or average handle time. Really need to be looked at across the department to say, when do we want someone to actually be connected? And many of the companies that we're working with are trying to do just that, which is to reorganize their teams differently to address the needs of the entire journey, because doing one thing in one department often leads to something else having an impact or needing to be done in another department. And so where I think people need to start is really at one, looking at the entire journey, but inside of the contact center, starting with agent assist, where it can have a double impact by improving interactions with customers, the work required by your staff to simply get things done more efficiently. And many of these solutions incorporate natural language translation to listen to what's happening in parallel, to find information from things like knowledge bases, forms that may need to be filled out with the customer to advance those conversations. And all along, I think about these solutions probably also bring in things like speech analytics and sentiment analysis to understand like what's happening during the call. And one of the things that I think about is around that engineered experience. It has to be able to be done and used at scale, to be able to harness that data to think about like how you can learn from what's happening during those interactions, to be able to be more proactive prior to that, and to pick up on some of those cues. But for me, starting with an agent assist solution that can really make agents super agents, to me, is where I think people should start.
Yeah, there's some really great stuff in there. I mean, starting with laying the groundwork, kind of aligning your teams, especially, was a great point. But then also in terms of where you should start to deploy some of this, the contact center and assisting the agents with agent assist tools isn't maybe another great starting place. It's interesting to hear, though. Obviously, that's kind of what you would recommend. Are those the steps that contact centers are often taking with contact center AI?
Yeah, it isn't. I think there's for the past few years we've had this get me a chatbot and put it in place mentality. It's been probably the most widely recognized form of AI that customers have experienced. And for years, containment has been the name of the game for reducing contact center demand. But of course, I think the challenge is more than half consumers who have actually engaged with a chatbot, don't actually have a great experience. And, the cost savings can be had through some tighter stitching of how those solutions can work, from someone coming through maybe an IVR into a call center and getting a chatbot to be able to capture some information, or provide some information. Someone calling into a bank and you're like, here's your bank balance. Oh, I see something's happening. And so they can augment that solution to be able to deliver information that maybe a customer's looking to just find information out. It could be like resolution on a dispute or whatnot. But I think we're going to get to a point of a plateau where what we're really trying to drive, and we're not going to be able to get there, is to sit there and simply make the value that we're delivering to the customers, better. And if contact centers can't deliver value, why are why are you having and implementing some of these things if you're not delivering real value to the customer? And so where you can start to see a bot or a virtual assistant, recognize information to be able to connect that human being, to provide that personal connection, where there's more highly complicated or specific questions or advice that someone needs, that to me becomes really important. There are other areas, when you think about like that contact center, where we see more opportunities with things like workflow automation. And an example of that is using AI to send a follow-up email to a customer after a conversation, and realizing that there's all that sort of makeup work that needs to be done in terms of updating records, files, that level of communication. That all falls into that workflow automation where AI can be really helpful. But again, these are things that fall into the category of how do you make the agent or the specialist better at doing their job and more efficient.
Yeah, it's lots of great stuff there. I think I'm with you definitely on the workflow automation. I see that often a lot, making a big difference in contact centers. But going back as well to your first point there as well, it's quite funny how you mentioned a lot of businesses have kind of just gone straight into conversational AI on their website and deployed a lot of these bots with the aim of kind of deflection and containment, as opposed to really building on the customer experience. I just want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that point, if I may, and kind of ask about maybe some of the other mistakes that contact centers need to be wary of as they start to embark on this journey of contact center AI.
So one of the things that we talk about a lot is the human condition, which is really like, why do people do certain things? And the perfection can't be the enemy of the good enough. And realizing that um, humans take the path of least resistance, and realizing that what delivers and what customers view as great experiences oftentimes leads to, like, how do you remove friction? How do you create an easy and effective solution and journey for a customer? And oftentimes, we spend all this time talking about just those pieces, and we haven't even gotten to the product or service that they're buying. Customers today can do all that level of research. They can go out and find information, comparison tools. So they're already starting to engage a business with a different level of intent that they never had before. And so they already have like the information that they need. Now it's about, can you make the buying experience easy and effective? And realizing that if we continue to create friction in a journey that a customer is going to take, where a chatbot may be able to be helpful, but it could also create unnecessary friction if a customer doesn't get the information or the issue resolved, what have you, and realizing that maybe there's a better way. And so AI is just one piece of the equation. But recognizing that human interaction at critical moments of, like, when we bring people together at moments that matter, having information that AI can leverage, having a more seamless integration that we talked about earlier around that level of augmentation. And that also means that having a more robust CRM system to be able to have the right information, but also thinking about one of the things that makes businesses attractive to other human beings when real people get connected. It's that personal, emotional connection, and having an empathetic company culture can be really important. And so, as you start to think about, the things that AI can really do to enhance, those experiences, to me, it sort of comes back to just like, make sure that what you're doing, and in the end, you're delivering value for your customers. They're going to be there with a split second moment's notice, evaluating whether this is too much work or not, or the value of staying in a channel or interacting with AI is worth it. And so to me, this is where you're going to be collecting lots of information to be able to do the stuff that maybe the what I would call all the pre work that's happening before an interaction, and then all the things that are happening during an interaction, and then all the things that happen sort of post call, post interaction.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, even from that kind of answer you've given, there's lots of really great golden nuggets of advice in there, and lots for contact center leaders to mull over. And just one kind of point that I really want to emphasize too is that leaders shouldn't have to be alone in that process of thinking about how to do this. It shouldn't be for a vendor that kind of gives them some AI and go, okay, it's yours now. There are a lot of kind of good vendors like Lance who do offer that white glove services alongside sort of the excellent technologies themselves. Um, just like to hear your kind of perspective as a CEO of one such tech company on this kind of services that you help to offer contact centers in circumventing some of the issues that you've mentioned and maximizing their chances of success with contact center AI.
Yeah, the value of storytelling, to be able to talk about how things have been implemented, to understand the type of journey orchestration that's been done. I always think about technology is a tool, but when you can sit there and say we can help you be wildly successful with these types of tools and technology, that's really where the rubber meets the road, and realizing that talking to them about siloed user experiences based on a lot of traditional sort of mentality is preventing a lot of the work that you're trying to actually get done around like meeting the customer where they are, and starting to really think about how to work through and make sure that you're removing steps, clicks, and such, not just for the customer but also for the agent, because you realize you hire agents to be empathetic, to be helpful, and you also realize that the retention on the agent side has always been talked about, because people get frustrated. It's hard to support the customer. You're also being driven to meet these specific metrics, and when you can make an agent's job easier so that they can do what they do best, what they're actually hired to do is to create a great experience, one that is that connection with a customer that goes, I love this company. That person I spoke with was so nice, so helpful. In fact, they solved multiple of my problems. That's the type of work that we end up spending time with our customers, to really understand how to do it, versus just like, good luck. We can help you get it all set up. We can do all the technical work, but we really need to sort of recognize that it's all the adjacent pieces that we need to understand to be able to talk with and ask our customers like really how they're actually implementing it and how they want to do it. That's
Mm.
the important part.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that you're kind of doing so much to lay the groundwork almost for AI success as well. It's not kind of just adding AI to an environment which isn't quite ready for it to kind of maximize, try and maximize kind of successes while there are inefficiencies still within those processes. And I think that goes back to kind of your first answer as well in terms of the orchestration that needs to be done before starting to implement this technology. But this is a topic I'm sure we could talk about for so much longer. But I think I've taken enough of
Yeah.
your time today, Thompson. Yeah, thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. And my last sort of thought is, a good topic is um, thinking about how to prepare an organization to maximize the use of AI would be a good topic, because it's not just like buying, the technology and implementing it. It's really thinking about how do you prepare to be successful with it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's about magnifying the efficiencies instead of the inefficiencies, I suppose, isn't it? I think there's a famous Bill Gates quote around that, but I won't go into I won't go into that right now. Yeah, but thanks very much for joining me today, Tom.
Charlie, thank you so much.
Excellent, and thanks to everybody for watching too. Bye for now.